Hey everyone, just wanted to do a quick video here, kind of give a different perspective on things here. Just so you know, that I just wanted to explain real quick that this is information that I get from the council that I'm part of. I'm a part of a higher dimensional council. There's a higher aspect of myself in this council. It's like a galactic council of different beings. So I want to give a perspective of that information I got today and to share with everyone a little bit of information on this ascension, this kind of final phases we're entering, how things are going to shift. A lot of things are going to happen. So let's see. Okay, so I'll get right into it, and I'm trying to think how to go about this. Okay, so first of all, everybody on the planet, okay, there's a human collective, there's a group of that human collective who have had really no other higher dimensional lives. They've had, most of them have been in this planet so long that they really haven't had a chance to shift into other realms and other dimensions or other lifetimes as other beings, okay, on other planets or etc. So right now we're seeing a complete breakdown of the old systems, and it's going to continue getting more so. It's not going to go back to the way it was. It just won't. It will be a very crazy transition. There will be, how do I say, the information that I got, there's different, okay, so there's a group of us, and I've covered this before, who have volunteered to come down to this planet. We have volunteered to come and help with this transition, okay? And many of us who volunteered are star seeds, our higher aspect of us is in a higher dimension. So we have come down to volunteer to help with this transition. Now, there will be many people that will be leaving who will choose not to ascend this time to the fifth dimensional Earth, okay? They will choose not to go through this transition. So they will leave the physical. I'm not trying to put like a fear into this, and I'm not trying to scare people with this information, but there will be people, we have to look at it as that they're just choosing not to stay, they're choosing to leave, and they will go through the death process in the physical. Of course, their soul never dies. Okay, so there are also those of us, starseeds and volunteers, and light workers or so, etc., who will also leave. There will be those of us who will leave, and we'll leave once our missions are done, and we will go back to our either home planets or ships, etc., once we get finished what we're doing. So I will kind of try to explain how this, there's been a lot of confusion. I get a lot of questions from people regarding the new Earth. How is it going to happen? Are we just going to wake up and it will be there, etc.? What I got, there's going to be a significant shift in the direction on how the collective plays out, okay? So there is going to be this human collective who will be very new at this. They've never gone through a ascension like this before. These are the souls that have been kind of reincarnated over and over on this cycle, on this planet for hundreds of lives, thousands of lives, whatever it is. They will go through a breakdown of this system, a transition. There will be earth changes. There will be breakdown of the political system, money system, every bit of system, education system. There's going to be a complete changeover. Everything's going to change, okay? And this may take, this is not going to be an overnight process, okay? Now, they will have to deal with their, baggage. Everybody's got baggage, so there's a lot of past life trauma or trauma from this life that we've had to deal with. So it's letting go of these old belief systems, letting go of what no longer serves the person, and kind of moving into a higher perspective and it's really working on yourself. Okay. So there's also what I said that I explained, I said, okay, so does all the starseeds and volunteers have to go through, these transitions like this? And they said, no. There will be standalone societies, okay? And what I mean by this is there will be, if you take the fifth dimension, okay, it's a dimension. There are different levels of that dimension. There are also different parallel universes. Okay, so this is very confusing. It's getting into quantum physics and that. So if you take, let's say, just the fifth dimension, it's a higher frequency, a higher vibration. You have, let's say there's 12 grades to that dimension, 12 levels, okay? I'm just using this as an example. There are 12 different levels, let's say 12 different fifth dimensional Earths, okay? And where we resonate with, we will shift to, okay? So there are going to be those, some starseeds who maybe go into, or light workers, or people going into a 6th grade or 6th level new Earth, higher dimensional Earth, okay? So we have to look at it that we go where our frequency shifts us. So what does that mean? That means most likely they will leave this physical and they will shift into another dimension, or I'm sorry, another level of that fifth dimension, okay? And so that will happen once we get through this, to this, solar flash that's supposed to happen, okay? And so a lot of things will change in this transition. So if you look at it as there's multiple fifth dimensional Earths, there's multiple levels, just dependent on your frequency, dependent on where you've been before. It'll be a choice. Everybody's going to get that choice of where to go. Okay, so let's say there's a group of starseeds or light workers who have been working really hard and they're trying to help with this transition, and their time is to be done. So they will shift into another vibration of the Earth. They may leave this realm here and they will just go right into that, either through the death process or maybe they just leave in their sleep, and they just shift and leave the physical body behind. Just depending on what the person is going to agree to, what's in their mission, what's in their contract, or sort of thing. Okay, so there will be. What else did I want to cover here? So every people are going to be kind of at a different frequency, and you're going to go where your level of consciousness is at. But the baseline, this frequency of Earth, will transition to a new Earth fifth dimension. So it'll be like base level 1, grade 1, fifth dimension Earth, okay? So this, if you kind of look at it like that, that's the easiest way to explain it, because there's such a confusion around many, I know, other light workers and starseeds who are saying, well, do I have to stay here through this whole transition? It just doesn't make sense for me. I feel like maybe I'm done here, or, whatever the case is. Yes, you have that choice. You will, depending on what you agreed to before you came in to volunteer, that's going to be where you go. Some of us may, after this, our missions are done, go to another, let's say a 7th level new Earth, let's say, 5th dimension Earth, just for a vacation. It could be like a peaceful tropical paradise, or maybe it's I read about one client had a hypnosis session that she saw her future self. She went to a Earth that looked like everybody was living in tree houses. And it was just a vacation to get, from all the work that she did here at this frequency. So that's how the best way I can describe it. Hope that makes sense. If it resonates with you, great. If this doesn't resonate with you, just find it is a piece of interesting information. Okay, so if you look at it, the other thing I can use an example as everything will exist in this space. So it's going to be like it's like layers on an onion, okay? That's a good Dolores Cannon quote. So if you take, as you get into closer to the center of the onion, it's more dense and more heavy. And as it gets out, the layers get lighter, okay? So look at it, if you look at it like that. Because the purpose of this transition over a few years for the human collective, those who have not really had any other lives, is it has to be a slower transition for them because they've never had an experience maybe in a fifth dimensional realm or in a higher frequency. I'm not saying they haven't. I'm just saying many of them have not been able to get out of this Earth cycle and reincarnation cycle out of this physical realm or this third dimensional realm. So you can't take, it's like you can't move a person that's at second grade level right into, 10th grade level or something. You have to go through where your consciousness, where you're ready to go. It's a learning curve. So that's kind of how things are going to play out, okay? I know I've listened to other people's perceptions and information, and they said it could be like a 4-year transition, which makes sense to me. This change over for the human collective will be a kind of a 4-year transition where things are going to take a while to shift to a different either money system or a different degree of free energy or other type of energy coming in where it's not going to use oil anymore, and all that will transition, but it's not going to just happen just like that. It just doesn't work that way. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, sorry, I had to pause it. There was a loud motorbike going by. So that's just to give you kind of a brief, quick update on how I was told. It was like a block of information because I had questions about how, why are some people seeing a different new Earth, and why are some people saying it's going to be a transition? How does it get from this to right away to a, like I said, people living in tree houses instantly after the solar flash? It didn't make sense to me. I just didn't get that. So now it makes sense. Now it's just when you go where your frequency goes, and that's what they meant by standalone societies. There will be standalone groups who will shift off and go into the frequency and level that they are comfortable with, that they're ready for. Okay, but a majority of those in the human collective who haven't had that opportunity will go through this transition of, breakdown of the old and into the new, and a slower transition. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. Please like the video if you do. Subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. I will continue to do more as I get information. If you have other questions you want answered, I'm happy to ask the council and ask the Galactic Federation group to answer questions, to get, if there's other specific questions. As we go into these phases of these ascension phases, there's different phases, like I said, that it's going to get more intense. There's a lot more that's going to happen. The best thing to do is try to look at it as from an observer standpoint, to try not to get attached to outcomes. I know it's hard to do because I've been there where I've expected things to happen and then they don't happen, and your expectations get disappointment. And so it's all dependent on how the collective shifts their energy, where the planet shifts their energy. So, all right. So anyway, I appreciate it. Like I said, a quick update. I'm grateful for any feedback. Please, if you have any questions, please respond, leave a message, and I will get back to you. Thank you.